Hello, everyone. This is going to be a great conversation with three local folks that work at the YMCA. And when you hear about what they do and how big their organization is, I think you're going to learn a lot. Some of you have swam in their pools, worked out, but you really don't know the reason to the why. Why the why? Does that make sense? I guess it does. And we're going to start with introductions. And this is just really low key. Chrissy's going to introduce herself. She's the executive director of Preventing Drowning, which is, to our listeners, they have children, but adults can drown too, right? Anybody. So go ahead, Chrissy, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit of what you do.
Hi, thank you. I'm Chrissy Fandel with the YMCA of Greater Richmond, and my role is all things water safety, safety around water, and drowning prevention. Looking at our human population, over 50% of humans worldwide don't have basic swimming ability to be able to do self-rescue should they accidentally just fall into water that's chest depth or greater. And so we know that accidental drownings are happening, and they're happening for all ages. We see a larger disparity with children ages 1 to 4, with accidental drowning actually being the leading cause of death for that population. And the YMCA is here to make sure that our families, our communities are safer, that we're providing education and swimming lessons.
So why do you work at the Y?
It's a great question.
I know. I think about that.
Tell people I have the best job in the entire world, and I wake up in the morning and it's kind of a dream that this is real life.
Wow.
I'm really pleased that I get to share my passion with water safety, with swimming lessons, with lifeguarding, and all things water safety. I think this group would agree I'm kind of a pool nerd myself. I think that getting to share that with the next generation of leaders, with the next generation of children, and even with, our families, our retirees, is a gift that I've been given, and I love to be able to share that.
I think that's awesome. Yeah, we all want to do something in life that leaves something behind. What you all do and your staffs, you leave something behind. You're all over the country, and you've been around before I was born, 64 years ago. So you guys have been around. We'll go to Mary, and she's the Vice President of Community Advancement. Mary, I was glad to meet you. Ruth Covert introduced us, and I met her at Mosaic, which is in Goochland. You have to be old to live there. It was 55 plus. No kids. Grandchildren, welcome. No kids can live there. I love kids, but I don't make the rules. But I met her, and she was great, and really has pushed this meeting. And I said, let's do a conversation. So, Mary, take it from there and tell us about you and why the why. Why do you do what you do?
So I'm Mary Coleman, Vice President of Community Advancement. As you mentioned, I'm new to the Y as of 6 months ago. And I don't work on the program side. I work downtown for the Y Greater Richmond. So this is all the Ys that we see across the various counties in Greater Richmond. And I work on the fundraising side. And a lot of people don't realize that the YMCA, we generate revenue through our programs and memberships, but we also have a philanthropy arm in which we solicit the community for donations. And this enables us to offer free and discounted memberships for folks, and really enables people who want to give back to the community and give to a strong mission. We are the place where they can do that.
You guys are a nonprofit?
We are a nonprofit.
And started, guys, when you guys started?
We're celebrating 175 years
Wow.
of this year.
I would not have guessed that. I would have guessed 100. Wow. We're about 115 years old, the BBB. So interesting. So does anybody know what the YMCA stands for?
Young Men's Christian Association.
All together now.
That's awesome. And we had to know that in Boy Scouts, just so you know, or Cub Scouts, because we went to D.C. one time and we stayed at a YMCA facility. They had boarding, they had rooms, and we stayed there as kids, and I'll never forget it. Mary, do you go out and can people contact you and have you come in and speak to philanthropy? And the last thing, you also have a big event, I believe. Is it the Y? Do you guys have other services for information for trafficking or women's abuse or spousal or human abuse? Do you have something like that? Or
That might be YWCA.
That might
focus
be
on some of those things.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But you guys do produce great programs and great opportunities. what's the one reason when you go out, you have a tough job. Raising money is not easy. I have to do it here. So we could each ask each other for money today.
Absolutely.
And I didn't bring
Do
a
it.
check, and you probably
Yes.
didn't either.
The answer is yes.
What's the
We take
one
credit
reason?
cards.
Yeah, there you go. What's the one reason you ask? Why should I give?
You know, a lot of our philanthropy happens at the branch level, where people attend or are members at their local branch. They have experienced themselves the benefit of the Y, either because their children were involved, or they're involved, or their elderly parents are sitting in our lobby enjoying coffee in the morning. And so one of the big highlights, honestly, of me traveling around to the various YMCAs that I help to with the philanthropy on is seeing a full parking lot, because it means that this is a community-centered place where people enjoy coming and they're benefiting mind, spirit, and body. And so I think that that's a strong mission anybody can say yes to.
Yeah, I agree. And now we're going to go to Andrew Dyson, Executive Director of Experience. So is that swimming, working out, running on the track? Explain that to us, Andrew.
Short and sweet, I like to give people high fives.
There you
I
go.
want to ensure that you have a good time when you're at the Y. It's interesting to follow these two and to hear what they talk about and all the wonderful things. And you have a story for each one of them. You have a reason. And like your reason of why the Y, why would somebody want to give? I look back on my life and I think, community helped to build me. How can I help to build that community?
Awesome.
You think about it being the dad of three boys that have all been in Y programs, and you see the positive things that happen, the positive things that they come back with. As a working parent, there are some days when Y staff are with your kids longer than you are
Yes.
with your kids.
Yes.
And so to have staff there that are leading based off of the Y values, the Y principles, my kids come home and learn those things. And it's not mine to teach them. They're not necessarily learning the cruel world. They're learning the positive possibilities of the world. And so for the giving aspect, why there's so many great things about making your community stronger. Mm-hmm. You had asked about the domestic violence piece. We do have partners, specifically at Goochland Cares.
Right.
Anybody that comes to Goochland Cares with a DV case, we immediately, if they're in emergency housing for them, we immediately just give them a Y membership so that they have somewhere to come, because when you come to the Y, it's not necessarily about the physical aspects of being healthy. A lot of times it's about the mental aspects of being healthy. And that can go from a mom of a newborn that needs to put a child in child watch for 15, 20 minutes just to kind of take some quiet time and sit down and enjoy the quiet. That can be an 80-year-old senior that needs to come in and sit down and play cards and socialize, because there's as much to that mental health as there is to that physical health of what we do. But the Executive Director of Experience, Relationships, Achievement, and Belonging, we want to know who you are. We want to know what makes you tick, what your goals are, so that we can support you in what that is. We want to connect you to other people that are in the Y, that are after some of those same goals, so that you have a place to belong. And then we're going to give you a high five when you have an achievement. And an achievement doesn't have to be running a marathon. Sometimes that achievement can just be, I came 3 times today. Right. Or as we were talking in the lobby, sometimes that achievement can be, I learned to float in the pool today. I learned not to be so uncomfortable in and around water. So there's lots of reasons to give people high fives, and it's just a fun place to be. As Chrissy said, which one she says when she wakes up in the morning, she doesn't sleep. Let's be clear. 24/7 she is thinking about what we are doing. So.
I think I figured that out when she walked in. We talked for 2 minutes.
Yes.
She is passionate, and y'all are. You're students of your business, I call it, and all three of you are very passionate about what you do. So I'm going to do a free-for-all question. Whoever raises their hand first, there's no buzzers, but there you go. He's going to get this one. So it was a little bit what you hit on, Andrew. So there's a lot of gyms out there. In my lifetime, I've seen so many gyms start and go out of business. There must be a lot of money in it and a lot of bad management, and then people don't like the program and they drop out. The Y is a nonprofit, 175 years or whatever it was. that's crazy to me, right? I never knew that coming into this, and I hope people learn that. So just in 30 seconds, and each one of you can answer it if you want, but what is the benefit of going to the Y? We're not going to put down your competition, but I've been to Ys, I've been to the gyms, and there's all different experiences. What do people get coming into your experiences when they walk out and they say, wow, thank you? They make relationships. Go ahead, any of you can go.
Yeah.
It's the relationship aspect of it. You know, if you were to walk into a church of 1,000 people and you don't know anybody, how often are you going to come back? You know, you may be there for the message, but how often are you going to come back? You
2
get
weeks.
connected with somebody, then you're going to start to build
Correct.
that. You're going to start to come back. You're going to start to build that healthy habit. I also think to Mary's point, the nonprofit status. And so years ago, I worked at Shady Grove, and a prospective member walked in, and we always say, well, what brings you here today? And they said, well, I came from, and I won't name the gym, but I came from another gym in the area because when they told me their rates, and I said, well, I can't afford that, then you should go to the Y because they're going to find a way to get you in the door despite your ability to pay.
It's a good referral.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's right.
When your competition is
Right.
supporting your mission,
Yeah.
Andrew,
So-
to that point, I think it's so important for people to know the YMCA has been around for 175 years because we adapt to meet the needs of our communities that we're serving. We're here to create connected communities through those. Oh, I looked away. Through those relationships.
Yeah.
And the YMCA is a nonprofit, but we're also open to all, and we have financial assistance. So regardless of your ability to afford membership program services, we will work with you to find a way. In fact, if you visit our website, ymcarichmond.org, and you click join, you can select which location you would like to join at. You can use all of our YMCAs throughout the region, but you can select your household income, and that will give you a rate for program services, for membership, and it's not something that we're going to go back and fact check you or ask for documentation on. We believe and trust our community is going to click what they need, and we're here for everyone. We want everyone to be a part of the YMCA.
So the last question, I was going to let you jump in on that, but I think going back to what you do, Mary, so what they're saying, you almost have an open door policy. You're not going to say no to folks just because I do a lot at this office with our Ignite program, food insecurity. I think I make statements that get people really upset with me. And I say, well, the food banks, they're not fixing the root causes. I want to fix root causes. And next April 21st, we're going to have the Department of Social Services here. I got some great, Susan Ong, cancer survival doctor down at VCU, talking about nutrition. It's not about people just needing handouts of food. It's about learning to live. And they've never been educated, or they forgot they don't have that family unit. And so I think with your philanthropy and what you're raising, you allow the Y to exist for everybody, it sounds like.
Absolutely. We also, have opportunities for people to volunteer and for businesses to sponsor things. And so that gets the whole community involved in the work. It's not just isolated to our team and the paid staff. There are other people who are passionate and who are using their skills and talents to help advance this mission. And it's very holistic. We're not just a fitness center. Right. We do things to help people holistically. Our spiritual arm is very strong. And people can get healthy in a variety of ways at the Y.
You might have just found a new member. I'm going to tell you, I've never realized it. Yes. I'm just telling you, the Goochland Y might see me and my wife. But I think Shady Grove is a little closer because Goochland is way out there for me.
Good news is access to one gets you access to all.
Good point. Well, you guys have rocked this boat here. We did less than 15 minutes, which probably most people will listen. You go past 15 minutes, they sign off. We have great video. You can see the staff and the people making this all possible. Thank you to the YMCA, to your programs, and I hope everybody passes this on social media. And all we try to do is get people to learn, and I did today. So thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Mary.
Thank you.